So a new bill proposed by Democrats in Washington state wants to create lower sentences for drive-by shootings. The bill's sponsors say it's about promoting, quote, racial equity, because apparently enforcing the law against violent drive-by shooters is somehow racist. Jason Rantz is a radio host in the Pacific Northwest, and he joins us now. Jason, great to see you. How is punishing drive-by shootings racist?
Well, it's not racist, but they say it's racist because apparently it's been used to go after drive-by shooters as it was intended, and they just happen to be black. That's the argument that they're trying to make. That's the only argument that they could try to make. But obviously, if someone is white and is committing a drive-by shooting, they too would be subject to the exact same law. So as it stands, this bill basically says it can no longer be considered an aggravating issue concerning a first-degree murder charge. Now, the aggregating factor makes it a mandatory life sentence without parole. So instead, you would be hit with a murder one charge, and that generally is 20 to 30 years punishment. It could be life in prison, but that generally doesn't happen. The funny thing about this is this particular aggravating murder charge isn't used very often. In fact, one of the lawmakers behind this, her name is Tarra Simmons, herself, by the way, a convicted felon who made it into the state legislature. She said it's only been used once. Now, I don't necessarily think that that's the case. This is something that's not very easily trackable. But let's say it was, in fact, used just once. That literally means it is not racist. It is not being used to target black people. And this would have zero impact whatsoever on racial equity in the criminal justice system. One time does not mean it is a problem. In fact, the argument should be that we're not using it enough.
So it's the rationale, Jason, that lawmakers in California have used to go about leaving shoplifting, for example, and small theft unpunished because they saw a disparate impact on African Americans punished under those laws. So their solution was don't punish those laws. It's the same rationale here with drive-by shootings. The vast majority of drive-by shooters are black, so therefore enforcing that law would be racist. Here's my question to you, Jason. What is the racial makeup of the victims of drive-by shootings?
The vast majority of drive-by shooting victims are black. So if you're going to tell me that this is about protecting the black community, sorry, you're not protecting the black community. In fact, the communities that are being impacted the most by drive-by shootings, which happen to be represented by David Hackney, the other state representative who's behind this bill, who won't answer any questions about it, they're the ones who have been asking, begging for more help, including more policing, to go after the rise in gun violence that South Seattle in particular has been experiencing over the course of the last 2 years.
Yeah, I would suggest that drive-by shootings have a disparate impact on black victims. And I would ask lawmakers, why are you concerned about the disparate impact on criminals and not on victims? That's a question I'm not sure we'll get an answer to, Jason.
Yeah.
But you can search for it, and I'm sure you will on your radio show there in Washington State. Thanks, Jason. Great to talk to you.
Thanks, Will. Appreciate it.
So it turns out the unhinged, maskless woman who beat up the man on a Delta Airlines flight, you've probably seen the viral video, well, she was actually an actress on a popular show. And by the way, I think she also appeared in a popular magazine. I'll tell you more about that straight ahead.